Follow along with me as I make this traditional forsythia style wreath. Hey y'all, it's Cody here with How I See It, where I inspire you every day to see the world how I see it. Let's jump right in. For this design, I'm going to be using a wispy grapevine wreath. This is a 24-inch round, and I'm actually going to be using some forsythia stems from Michael's. I love to purchase these every year, especially wink wink when they go on clearance after the springtime season. You can get these for a great price. And I usually use about 6 of the stems for my design. And what I'm doing here is I cut all of the stems off and then I cut them in half just to make them a little bit shorter so that they don't extend out past the tips of my grapevine. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be trimming each stem so they fit in perfectly, gluing the tips of them, and then inserting them at an angle going around the design. You can see me doing this repetitive motion all the way around, spinning the design around and around, working in those forsythia blooms tight at that base and letting them fray out towards the outside. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You may be thinking, Cody, I don't know if I can get this wreath everywhere or where I could find this. So you can find this style design of a grapevine online. I've also seen them at Hobby Lobby before. You can also luck out sometimes and find them at other places such as Home Goods, sometimes at Michael's as well. They are a little bit pricier if you do find them, but have no fear. Since we are using a budget spray, it still works out to be a gorgeous design. And pro tip, you can do this exact same thing on a smaller grapevine wreath as well to stay within a nice budget. So y'all, you can see I'm just still gluing, very repetitive here, but it ends out being a fabulous end result. And a little fun fact about the forsythia wreath, this is kind of my 2.0 version. Forsythia wreath was actually my very first wreath that I ever made years ago. My mom actually wanted one for the front door, and she wasn't excited or pleased with any of them that she found that was pre-made. So me, being the crafter that I am, said, you know what, I can make that better. And that's how all of this journey here was born. So whether you've been a longtime follower of mine or you're just now finding me maybe through this video, or you've been around for a short time, I'm so happy and thankful that you're here. Thank you so much for joining me on my journey. But I'm going to keep on adding in some forsythia. And while I'm doing that, I encourage you all to share this video to your page so you can watch it later. Tag a friend that you may think will enjoy this in the comments. Leave a heart, leave a comment. We'll love that as well. And in just a moment, I'm going to be making a bow to add on to this design. And for this design, I am only going to be using one ribbon. That's what I'm choosing to do. So I'm just going to be using a black and white ribbon so that it stands out nice and pretty onto that yellow. You're free to make whatever you like for your design because you know what? It's your design. And this is what I wanted to do for mine. But super pretty 1.5 inch classic ribbon here with that buffalo check, that black and white. And I'm just looping back and forth, doing multiple loops, twisting in the center where my left hand is holding, and I'm using my right hand to twist. You can always use a bow maker as well, should that help you hold all the ribbons together. And I'm securing it all together with a zip tie here, and then I'm going to toss on a pipe cleaner and get this thing added into my design. And for my design, I'm choosing to attach the bow towards the top of the design so that those tails hang down nice and pretty. And I'm also attaching it towards the center so that you can still see some of those yellow blooms peeking out of the top. And I'm just giving it a nice fluff. And then I'm going to dove cut the tails of my bow so they sit and curl very nicely. And that is the finished product. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me, and y'all be kind to each other. Bye, y'all.